Hi, and welcome to Module 1.1 of the Information Lab and Data School's Tableau Data Skills training course. My name is John Power, and I'm thrilled to have you here. We're going to learn so much together. In this module, you will learn the essentials of Tableau Desktop. I will cover an overview of Tableau Desktop, how to connect the data, how to build bar charts, maps, and line charts, how to construct a dashboard and make the most of Tableau's interactivity features. You can watch this module as a standalone training or as part of our Tableau Data Skills series. If you find this training useful and would like us to help you and your team make sense of your business data, please reach out at info@theinformationlab.co.uk. And remember to click subscribe to be first to know about our new videos. Okay. We will now look at an overview of Tableau Desktop and how to connect to data. Tableau currently has 3 products available to the market. These are Tableau Prep Builder, Tableau Desktop, and Tableau Server and Prep Conductor. Tableau Prep Builder is a data preparation tool designed to clean, shape, and combine data sets from multiple sources. With Tableau Prep Builder, users are able to create a well-structured and refined data source for visualization and analysis. Tableau Desktop is a data visualization and business intelligence tool that empowers users to create interactive and insightful dashboards and reports from a variety of data sources. Tableau Server is an enterprise-level platform that allows organizations to share and collaborate on Tableau visualizations and dashboards securely. Tableau Prep Conductor is a component of Tableau Server that helps automate and schedule data preparation workflows created in Tableau Prep Builder. Once we have Tableau open, we can see on the left-hand side we have our data connections pane. This serves as a central location to manage and access various data sources. This enables users to connect to or import data from databases, cloud-based platforms, or file locations. In the center of the screen, we can see recently accessed Tableau workbooks. To open up any one of these, we would simply need to click on the corresponding image. At the bottom, we can see our Tableau accelerators. These are ready-to-use dashboards that you can combine with your data to customize to fit your needs to help you get data-driven insights faster. The Discovery pane on the right-hand side provides us with quick links to Tableau resources and other video tutorials. To access our data for this session, we will click onto More, then Downloads, and double-click on our downloaded spreadsheet. Under Sheets, these 3 tables correspond with the 3 tabs in our Excel spreadsheet. For this session, we will only be using our height age data, so all we need to do is drag this table into the center. Tableau has automatically assigned a data type to each of our columns. Strings represent text data such as names, addresses, or descriptions. Number represents numeric data. These can be with or without decimal places, depending on the precision required. Date represents date values, enabling time-based analysis and visualizations. Date time represents both date and time values, used for analyzing events over specific time periods. Boolean represents true or false values, often used for filtering or conditional calculations. Geographic represents geographical data, such as latitude, longitude, and spatial objects for mapping and geospatial analysis. At the bottom here, we can click for a new worksheet, a new dashboard, or a new story. A worksheet is a fundamental building block where data fields are arranged and visualizations are created. Worksheets allow users to analyze and present data insights using various charts, graphs, and tables within a single view. A dashboard is a collection of multiple visualizations, filters, and other elements arranged on a single screen. With the use of containers, we can arrange and organize any worksheets we have created to enable users to gain comprehensive insights, compare data trends, and make data-driven decisions. Story is a sequence of visualizations and dashboards organized to convey a data-driven narrative, guiding viewers through data insights and analysis in a compelling and interactive way. We can see that a worksheet has already been created by default, so let's click straight into that. The data pane on the left is a user interactive element that displays the list of fields available in the data source. From here, users can drag and drop these fields directly onto the sheet, onto rows, onto columns, or onto any element of the marked card. To remove, just click and drag off. By clicking on the Analytics tab, we can see a selection of reference and forecasting options which we can drag and drop onto our charts or graphs. As we have no fields in our worksheet, these are currently grayed out, indicating that they are not available for us. The Show Me option on the right-hand side is a dynamic and context-aware feature that suggests appropriate visualizations based on the selected data fields in the worksheet. As we have no fields on our worksheet, again, these are currently grayed out, indicating that they are not available for us to use. The filter section of the worksheet allows users to control and refine the data displayed in visualizations by applying filters based on specific criteria, fields, or calculations. Back on the data pane on the left, blue pills are discrete dimensions and give you headers. These are normally categorical data, such as country or sex. These cannot be aggregated. If we double click onto one of these, Tableau will automatically add it to our worksheet wherever it feels is most appropriate. If we want to change the position of this, all we need to do is drag and drop to our preferred location. Green pills are normally continuous and give you an access. This would include data such as height and weight. These can be aggregated. We can see here that Tableau has automatically aggregated our mean height to be sum. For this field, we would actually want this aggregated as average. To change this aggregation, all we need to do is right-click on the pill, under Measure, select Average. Alternatively, when we first drag this onto our rows, if we right-click with our mouse, drag to rows, as soon as we release, this pop-up will appear for us to select the aggregation. Now that we have fields on our worksheet, we can see under the Analytics tab, some of the options are no longer grayed out. Similarly, under the Show Me options, some of the options are also not grayed out. To apply any of these, simply click. If we wanted to undo any changes, we would just hit back, or we could hit forwards. On your keyboard, you can also do Ctrl-Z to undo. And if you want to clear a worksheet entirely, you can use this Clear Worksheet option at the top. We have looked at an overview of Tableau Desktop and how to connect to data, so we will now move on to how to build bar charts, maps, and line charts. For this, we will be answering the question, which country has the highest average female height? To rename a worksheet, simply double-click at the bottom. You can see that it also adds this as the title. First thing we will do for this is take our countries and drag it onto rows. We will now take our mean height and drag that onto columns. As you can see, again, Tableau has automatically aggregated this to be sum. We want this to be an average. So if we right-click, Measure, Average to change the aggregation. We can also add our average mean height to be a label. If we hit Control on our keyboards, left-click again on the average mean height and drop it onto labels. And we can see that it has appeared as a label at the end here on the right. We also want to sort this in descending order. There are a few ways we can do this. We can either click here at the top, or using the options along the ribbon at the top, we can sort it to be ascending or descending. If you wanted to remove these sort controls, click Worksheet and untick Show Sort Controls. If we go to our data source, we can view our data row by row. And we can see that for each mean height, it is also looking at this in the year of birth, the sex, as well as the country. So if we go back to our worksheet, we can also add these elements onto our bar chart. So to add sex, simply left-click, drag that onto rows. And again, for year, we would left-click and drag that on. However, there is currently an issue with our year of birth. Notice that it is currently a measure. This is because Tableau has assumed it is a continuous measure. If we right-click on the field, we can change it to be a dimension. Now we can also drag this onto our rows. If we wanted to change the order of anything on our rows, we could simply click and move around like so. But for now, we will remove these elements from our rows. So simply click and drag off. So now we have our bar chart. It's showing the average height for each country descending. If we look at our question though, we only want to look at female height. So for this, we will make use of the filters. All we need to do is take sex, drag that onto filters and select woman. Hit apply, OK, and now we are just looking at the data for women. So here we can see in answer to our question, which country has the highest average female height? It is Iceland. So now we have built our bar chart together, we'll move on to the first exercise. For this, we will open up a new worksheet and add our worksheet name and title. Which year has the highest average male height in the UK? So please pause the video and have a go at building this out yourself. We'll reconvene in a minute. So the first thing we will do for this is take our year of birth and drag it onto rows. We can now take our mean height in centimeters and drag it onto columns. Now we want this aggregated as an average, so I'm just going to right click, drag it in and select average. Again, we can sort this to be descending. It will be helpful here to add our average mean height onto labels again, so I'm just going to hit Control on my keyboard, left click and drop it onto labels. If we wanted to change the amount of decimal places appearing or format our label in any way, you can just right click, format. We have a few formatting options under here. For the decimal places, under number, custom, we can add or remove decimal places. Let's leave it as 3 for now. Okay, so we have our bar chart, but if we look at the question, we're only looking at male height and only looking in the UK. So the first thing we'll do is take sex and add that onto filters and just select men. Hit apply, okay. And similarly for country, we can take that, drop that into filters. We can either scroll down to United Kingdom or search here. Apply, okay. In answer to our question, which year has the average male height in the UK, our bar chart clearly shows that it is 1984. So now we know our way around Tableau, we know how to build out basic bar charts, so now we will look at maps. Click again to open a new worksheet. We'll paste in our worksheet name and title, which will be average height by country. First thing we will do here is double click on country. Now Tableau recognises that this is a geographic field, so it plots it automatically as a map. Now we want to incorporate the average mean height onto our map. There are a couple of ways we can do this. The first way is using the size card. So if we drag that on, and again we need to change the aggregation to be average, so right click, measure, average. Here there's not much range between the sizes of the points, so to change this, if we go up here, click the drop down, edit sizes, and under sizes vary, we can do by range, hit apply, okay. And we can see that there is a lot more contrast in the size of the points here. The other way that we can show the average mean height on our map is by using the color marks card. So all we need to do is take this off of the size and add it to color. And here now we can clearly see that the darker the country, the higher the average mean height. If we wanted to change the colors at all, on here we could just click the drop down, edit colors, and select anything we wanted. Hit apply, and OK if we want to keep it. But for this we're going to stick to blue, so if we just undo. Now we will move on to look at how to build line charts. So again, let's open another worksheet. And we will call this average height by country over time. Now for this, we will be using our year of birth field. Date parts in Tableau are the discrete version of your date field. Date parts break a date down into individual pieces. Date values in Tableau are the continuous version of your date field. For this, we want our year of birth to be continuous. So if we drag it onto columns, and now right click, we can change it to be continuous. And on our y-axis, we want our mean height in centimeters as an average. So again, right click onto rows, aggregate as average. But what we want to see is each line representing an individual country. So to do this, we will take country and drag it onto our detail marks card. Now, each one of these lines represents a different country. However, we have all this redundant white space at the bottom. To get rid of this, we can right click on our y-axis, edit access, untick include 0, and now we see it has removed all of that redundant white space at the bottom. This is a lot clearer, a lot easier to view, and a lot more useful for our users and any analysis that we want to do. Now what we're going to do is build out this line chart again. We want to create a calculation which will enable us to highlight the line representing the UK in a different color. So for this, I'll open a new worksheet. Again, drag year of birth onto columns. Now this is showing as discrete. We want it continuous. We want our mean height in centimeters to be an average. So right click and average to change the aggregation. Again, currently we only have one line. We want a line for each country. So if we take country, drag it onto detail, we can see that this is now split out. And again, we have all this redundant white space. So let's edit the axis, untick include 0. And we will call this average height by country over time, highlighting UK. Now we want to create our calculated field, which will determine whether a country is or isn't called the United Kingdom. To create a calculated field, select here and create calculated field. Alternatively, Alt-AC. On the right here, we have a list of the Tableau functions. We can filter these down to different data type functions. If you wanted to close this window, select like that. We will call this UK highlighter. And now for this, we first want to add country. You can either start typing and select it from the drop down or drag in from the side. We're just going to say country equals United Kingdom. What this will do is return true or false depending on whether the country does or doesn't equal United Kingdom. We can see at the bottom here the calculation is valid. If there was an error with it, we would know because it would highlight under in red, and we would also have this little drop down here which will give us some indication about what is wrong with our calculation. But this is good to go, so we'll hit OK. Now to show you how this is working, we will build out a table. So if we open a new worksheet, add country to rows, add UK highlighter to rows, and we can see that this returns false for all of these countries. If we scroll down to the United Kingdom, we can see it's returning true. You don't have to build out a table. I just like to do it to make sure that my calculation is working in the way that I want it to before I apply it to any charts or graphs. We can delete that now. So now let's take our UK highlighter and drag it onto colour. We can see it's returning blue for false and orange for true. Currently, our orange line representing the UK is underneath all of our blue lines. So let's swap that around. We can see that's slightly clearer now. However, if we want to edit the colours, under here, edit colours, and let's make false to be grey. That's a lot clearer now, and we can clearly see orange representing the United Kingdom and grey representing all the other countries. So now we know how to build line charts. We're going to move on to our second exercise. So if I open up another worksheet, and this would be similar to our previous line chart, but for this one we want the average height by country over time, highlighting Ireland. So for this, we actually want to edit the colours so that the line representing Ireland shows in green and all the other countries show in grey. So please pause the video and have a go at this, and we'll reconvene in a minute to go through the solution. Okay, so again, we'll take our year of birth onto columns. It's currently discrete, so let's make it continuous. We want our mean height on rows, and we want that aggregated to be average. Now we want to show a line for each country, so let's take country, drag it onto detail. Again, all this redundant white space, so if we right click, edit access, untick include zeros. And now we want a boolean to identify whether a country is or is not Ireland. So again, we can either create calculated fields and type it afresh, or because we know it's going to be very similar to this calculation, if we right click, duplicate, right click again and edit, and we can change this to be Ireland. So what this will do is return true or false depending on if the country is or is not Ireland. So hit OK. Now all we need to do is take our Ireland highlighter, drag that onto colour. Again, it's pretty best to swap this around, and we can edit our colours like so. So you want true, which is Ireland, to be green, and everything else to be grey. Let's hit apply, OK, and there we have it. As this line chart was very similar to our line chart highlighting the UK, another quick way we could have done this if we didn't want to build it all from scratch, We just go to our UK one, right click, duplicate. Here we would need to update the name as appropriate, and instead of having the UK highlighter on colour, we could just drag the Ireland highlighter onto colour and then tweak the colours as needed. We'll delete this one for now. So we've now explored the different parts of Tableau. We've looked at bar charts, we looked at building maps, we've looked at building a few line charts. We will now return to bar charts, and for this one we will create a boolean using the average mean height. So if we open up a new worksheet, we are looking to highlight countries taller than average UK height for women in 1996. So this will incorporate most of the key things that we have learned so far in the session. We will build a bar chart, we will use the filter shelf, and we will build out a calculation and add it to color to answer this question. The first thing we are going to do is take our mean height and add it to columns. We want this aggregated as an average. We will add country onto rows. And let's also add sex onto rows. It would be best to have this sorted descending, so let's do that now. Now looking at the question, we know we only want to look at women, so let's add sex onto filters and untick men. And again, we're only looking at one specific year, so let's take our year of birth, add it onto filters, and just search for 1996. Now let's sort this to be descending, and let's also add our average mean height onto labels so we have it displayed clearly here. So I'm just going to use Control on my keyboard, left click and drag onto labels. If we scroll down to United Kingdom, we can see that it is 164.40 centimeters is the average UK height for women in the year of 1996. For our calculation, we want to return true for all of our average mean heights which are above this figure. So let's create a calculated field. And let's call this taller than UK woman in 1996. Now we know we want our average mean height first of all, so Control on the keyboard, left click, drag it in. We're going to say if that is bigger than 164.41, we know we want to pick it up everything greater than this. So let's hit OK. It's telling us the calculation is valid. And now again, we want to highlight the countries that are taller than the UK for this year for the woman. So let's drag that onto color. So we can see that everything true is returning in orange, everything false is returning in blue. If we wanted to edit the colors again, click here, edit the colors. So now we can clearly see all the countries which are taller than the average UK height for women in 1996. So now we have looked at an overview of Tableau Desktop and how to connect to data. We've looked at how to build bar charts, maps and line charts. So we will now move on to how to construct a dashboard and make the most of Tableau's interactivity features. So if we click at the bottom for new dashboard, and we will call this Global Heights. On the left here we can see all of our worksheets displayed. If you hover over them, you can see a picture of them. If you wanted to go to one of these worksheets directly from here, just click like so. And at the bottom here, we can tick or untick to show the dashboard title. Now we are going to use horizontal and vertical containers to build out this dashboard. So if we drag a horizontal container, what this does is as we drag our worksheets in, it will place them side by side. And with a vertical, you can place them on top of one another. Let's clear that now. First thing I'm going to do is add a vertical container for our dashboard. And now, instead of using this title here, I'm going to drag a text object in and type my title. Let's change the font, make it slightly bigger, and let's make it bold and black. Our title looks good. We don't need to worry that it's in the center because we will add parts underneath this now. So let's go to our map and drag that in underneath. We can see it's automatically pulled through the worksheet name as the title. We'll keep that there. However, I don't think we need this legends, so let's remove that. The bottom right of our map, this is telling us we have two values that are unknown geographic locations. For now, let's hide that indicator. Now what we want to do is underneath the map, we want to place our bar chart and also our line chart. We want them side by side, so let's drag a horizontal container in there. First of all, let's get our bar chart answering the question, which country has the highest average female height? So let's drag that in. And for our line chart, let's get our average height by country over time. The grey indicates where it's going to drop. And because we have this in a horizontal container, if we double click, we can select distribute contents evenly. Okay, let's tweak the spacing slightly. If we wanted to do any formatting to our bar graph or line graph from here, we're able to right click, we can edit the axis, we can change the title, or we could remove it entirely. Let's keep it there for now. We could also right click and format our grid lines. We'll keep it like this for now though. You may have noticed as my mouse went over there, this little box popped up. Now this is called a tooltip. What we'll do, if we click onto our line chart, we can go to that worksheet. Now what the tooltip does is it tells us information about that specific point. So for here we know in the year of 1896, Sweden had an average mean height of 166.09. If we wanted to change the tooltip or format it at all, we could just click here and using the options along the top, change or format. If we wanted to remove the tooltip altogether, we could untick show tooltip. Let's go back to our dashboard. I think it would be good to add something to separate our main title from our map title. So what we're going to do for that is take a blank, drag it in there. If we go to layout, we can add a black background. We can make it slightly smaller. And if we tweak the padding, let's make it grey actually. Okay, that just breaks up our main title from our map title slightly. There are other ways we can add dividers. I just find that's quite a quick way to do it. Okay, so now we have our dashboard. What we want is to make the most of Tableau's interactivity features. So what we'll do now is add a dashboard highlight action. So let's go to dashboard, actions, and add action highlight. Let's call this country highlights. So the source sheet determines which chart will drive this action. For this, we want it to be our map, so our average height by country. Our run action on, we will leave as select, so that our action will only run when we select a country. And then the target sheets is which graphs do we want to highlight off the back of our action. So for this, we're just going to untick the map and leave our bar chart and line chart selected. Our target fields, let's leave as all fields. Okay. Okay. And now when we select a country, we can see that it is highlighted below both in the bar chart and in the line chart. If we tick again, deselect, return to our previous dashboard. Another dashboard action which we could add here, instead of a highlight action, we could actually add a filter action. So let's do that now. Go up to dashboard, actions, we can remove that, add action, filter. Call it country filter. So again, the source sheet here will be our map. We want it to run on select. The target sheets, we will untick our map and just have our bar chart and line chart. Clearing the selection, we want to show all of our fields again. And the filter, let's leave it on all fields. Okay, okay. And now when we select a country on our map, we can see that the bar chart and line chart below filter to just that country. And now we want to show all values again, so click again. Thank you for watching this module. I've had a great time teaching you. In this module, we covered an overview of Tableau Desktop and how to connect to data, how to build bar charts, maps, and line charts, how to construct a dashboard and make the most of Tableau's interactivity features. I hope you're able to put what you learned in this module into practice soon. If you want to continue with our Tableau Data Skills training course, the next module is 1.1 Calculations. You can jump straight into it by clicking on the next video thumbnail on the right. If you'd like us to help you and your team boost your data skills, please reach out at info@theinformationlab.co.uk. Lastly, remember to subscribe to this channel to get notified when we release new videos. Looking forward to seeing you in our next session.